What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the film room. We are about to do our part 3 of our press break, and we're focusing on 3 quarter court presses and how we can break the 2-2-1 press and the 1-2-2 press. So let's get into it. We're going to start by looking at the 2-2-1 press because this is typically the one that's going to be more aggressive and have more options. When it comes to this press, you're going to have 2 guys in the front, 2 in the back, and then there's going to be 1 safety that's long. As you can see, they're not really pressuring the basketball, so this is what we would refer to as token pressure. It's just supposed to appear that they're pressing to get you to slow down, but ultimately that's all they're trying to do. And the reason we refer to this as a 3-quarter court press is because the pressure typically starts about a fourth of the way down the court around the 3-point line. Now, the reason this press can create problems for an offense is because of the ability to trap randomly. So in this situation, you're going to get what's called a run and jump, and they're going to go and double the basketball. And the first thing that we want to do is locate the next man closest to the trapper, and if he is not rotating to the trapper's man, we want to throw the ball right back to where the trap came from. So again, the setup of the 2-2-1 is you're going to see this 2-man front typically starting around the free throw line, maybe the 3-point line, and as you start to move the ball up the court, you're going to see that next layer of defense around the half-court line. That's where we get our 2-2-1 concept from. And it's important to always assume a trap is coming. As far as our spacing, we always want somebody sideline, middle, and somewhere opposite. And since the trap came from the sideline, since there's nobody covering him up, we want to throw it right to his man, and that's how we break the press. When it comes to a press break, the most important thing is spacing. You'll see here in this clip that is set up almost the exact same as before, that we need to have somebody sideline, we need to work somebody to the middle, and have somebody opposite, or in this situation, a trail man. But as the trap happens, we don't get good spacing from our sideline man, and we also don't have good spacing between the middle and the opposite, and so now this defender has the ability to play both, and he almost comes up with a steal. But earlier in the same game, Rhode Island had good spacing, and look how easy it was for them to break the press. The man whose opposite is back behind the ball, they have somebody occupying the middle, and that made their sideline pass wide open. So as soon as the ball gets inbounded, we need to get to our spacing principles. You can see that on the inbound, you have 4 guys underneath the free throw line. And because of the bad spacing, Arizona advances the ball too quickly, and now they're forced to throw it back. If they would have gotten to the sideline in the middle, it would have been easy to break the press, but now they're forced to reverse it. And after they do that, they make a lazy pass, and it results in an unforced turnover. And the last thing you need to know about this 2-2-1 press is they love to pursue from behind. So as the trap comes initially, they do a great job of getting the ball out quickly, but you have to remember that they are going to pursue from behind. So the defender from the initial trap comes in from behind the basketball and gets an easy steal. And if he would have caught it and just looked up court, he would have seen this wide open teammate instead of dribbling it, and that's why the turnover happened. So anytime that you advance the basketball with a pass or a dribble, just keep in mind there is a great chance when you pick it up, you're going to be double teamed. And this is exactly like our run and jump video, so make sure you check that out because the principles are the same. They're going to take away the immediate threat passes out and force you to make the skip pass to the furthest person away. And you might get out of that trap, but we want to avoid being in that situation as much as possible. Now let's transition to the 1-2-2 press. This is when you're going to have a man around the free throw line who is splitting the court in half. He's your 1, and then you're going to have 2 rows of 2 making up the 1-2-2. Nothing is going to change about our spacing principles. We still want to have someone who's sideline, middle, and back. We're just going to have to make different reads against this press. This is typically the least aggressive press that you're going to see. More than likely, they're going to have someone who covers middle. It will be the opposite wing, and the strong side wing will take away that pass ahead, and it will be token pressure because they want the ball to move back and forth across the court as many times as possible before crossing half court. The main purpose of this press is to chew as much clock up as they can so that the offense has less time to work their offense. So what the defense wants, and you should try and avoid, is the ball going back and forth across the court 2 and 3 and 4 times before you advance it across the timeline. But not every 1-2-2 is exactly the same. So sometimes your personnel will give away what the purpose of this press is. You can see here that Arizona State has a long athletic wing playing their top spot. So he's probably going to be more aggressive, trying to force you to make a bad decision and turn the ball over, or at least speed you up. So typically that top man isn't going to pressure the ball, but he's going to try and use his length to get a deflection by you just making a silly pass, and then it results in a turnover. And this is why scouting reports reports or just paying attention early in the game is so important. You will be able to tell pretty quickly into the game or into your scouting report if the 1-2-2 press is more of an aggressive run and jump like you're seeing here, or if it's more laid back and token pressure. The biggest advice I would give you is to do the opposite of what the defense wants. They're trying to slow you down, so I would try and speed up and play fast, and one of the ways that you can do that is by flashing somebody to the middle. And once you get the ball there, you can typically advance it either direction, and that's going to open up opportunities for layups or easy transition buckets. So you have to pay attention every single time when the ball comes in. Here you're going to see a two-man front, which would imply that it's a 2-2-1, and then the defense shifts into a 1-2-2. And because these presses aren't naturally aggressive, the way that you make mistakes is with what I call user errors. And that's where you just make silly passes that are unnecessary, that result in turnovers that are unforced. So you have to make sure that you always prioritize taking care of the ball. So your key takeaways from these two presses is always make sure you recognize the front, get to your 3 spacing principles, be prepared for traps and defenders pursuing from behind, and always take care of the ball and eliminate user errors. Make sure you check out the other 2 videos we did in part 1 and 2 that's in this playlist right here, and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for coming through. We'll see you next time in the film room.